Hi Ella Tutors! This month we're talking about the importance of context. Take a look at this thing. Can you tell what it is? I can't tell what it is. There's very little here for me to connect to what I already know about the world. For example, let's say I'm supposed to complete a worksheet about this thing. How can I complete a worksheet when I haven't been able to connect it to my own lived experiences? I might be able to complete a worksheet, but I probably won't get much out of it, and I'll likely feel really frustrated or feel like I'm stupid. Oh, here's the same thing, but with some context. I have lived experience with this. I know what it is. I know where it grows. I know what it feels like when your brother throws it at you. And so now, with all this background knowledge, I can go into that worksheet task feeling confident and engaged. I can talk about this object, I can write about it, and I'm much more likely to be interested in doing a task or a worksheet about it. Research shows that we are much more likely to retain new information when we are able to connect it to old, familiar frameworks, which are called SCHEMA. Schemas organize our understanding of the world. So when I looked at this first image, there wasn't enough context for me to connect it to anything that I already know. But when I looked at the second image, which had some context, I could connect it to my pine cone schema and my things that are likely to be thrown at me, so I'd better duck schema. We always bring what we know about the world to our processing of new information. As teachers, when we contextualize a lesson or an activity, we nestle everything inside of a frame of reference that our students can connect to. Context is an incredible tool for increasing student comprehension, and it can make or break an activity. If we do a good job of setting the context around an activity, it will be that much more engaging and authentic. If we do it poorly, we'll see students disengage and be frustrated. In the case of the Ella classroom, context generally refers to the who, what, when, where, why of an activity or a text. Setting the context not only helps students connect the new information to what they already know, to their schemas, it also allows them to concentrate on the new language rather than trying to figure out what the heck you're talking about. For example, instead of spinning my wheels trying to figure out what was in the first image, the second image, which was to contextualize, allowed me to tap into all of my memories about pine cones and find the language to describe them. Let's look at how this looks in the real Ella classroom. Okay, here's a worksheet about simple past verbs. Fill in the blanks. See how it's not connected to anything? As a teacher, where can I go from here? I'm stuck just watching the students fill in the blanks, checking them, and then moving on to another activity. And that doesn't take very long, so that means I need to plan 10 more activities to kill my hour-and-a-half class. And my students are hung up on understanding every word of these sentences rather than thinking about real language use. Let's look at another example. Did you have a good weekend? I had a great weekend. I read a good book, I rode my bicycle with my husband and my friends, and then we ate dinner together. What did you do this weekend? See how in this example you're already thinking about your own weekend, your own lived experiences? You're excited to share. You're not hung up on the mechanics of the simple past. You're thinking about what you want to say about your weekend. And in terms of lesson planning, we can go so many places from here. We can have students write sentences about their weekends in the simple past, or they can interview each other, or they can make a role play out of something that happened this weekend, or they can take the verbs that they used in their sentences and we can make a written practice out of that. So it's like a worksheet, except that it includes their sentences and their lives. And the amazing thing about these activities, not only are they contextualized, but they take up so much more lesson time. Of course, the mechanics of the formation of the simple past are very important, But if we can put those mechanics within authentic communication about our lived experiences, the students are going to be that much more engaged and successful. It is very easy to set the context for an activity. Let's look at some examples. So instead of jumping straight into a dialogue, show an image first, an image of the dialogue, and ask, who are these people? Why are they talking? Where are they? Have a conversation about the image and then jump into the dialogue activity. Similarly, for vocabulary, rather than starting with a vocabulary list, show an image and ask, what do you see? Who is in the picture? Where are they? Have you ever been in a place like this? Students will say lots of words, and that gives you a gauge for a starting point, what they already know, and it connects to their schema, their background knowledge. In the case of a reading text, we can point out the title, the subheadings, the pictures, and we can ask, what do you think the text will be about? Who is in the text? What is the situation? What will happen? And this allows students to connect to what they already know about what this image might be indicating. In all of these cases, we are making clear or asking students to think about the who, what, when, where, why of a given activity or text. And when we do this, we set students up for success. We make the connections between the new knowledge and students' lived experiences clear, which helps our students retain and use the new English that much more effectively. If you'd like to learn more about how to maximize the activities you're already doing by embedding them in relevant context, join us at the Worksheets That Work session. It is intended for intermediate and advanced tutors, but everyone is welcome to come. It's going to be Friday, March 8th from 2 to 4:30 at Literacy Connects, and there is an RSVP link in the newsletter. I hope you have a fantastic month, and I hope to see you at one of the many continuing education sessions coming up this spring. As always, don't hesitate to call or email with questions or pop into the office just to say hi.